In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a watercolor sketchbook in 5 easy steps. This is the same sketchbook that I use for my artwork, so let's get started. The first thing that we're going to need to get started is paper. We need 2 sheets of 16 by 20 inches in size. The paper that I like to use for my watercolor sketchbooks is Fabriano Artistico, but any brand of watercolor paper that you like to use should work just fine. Here we are taking one of our 16 by 20 inch size papers and we're simply folding it in half. With the fold in place, the paper will now measure 16 by 10 inches in size. Next, we want to really work that crease line in. We can do that by moving our thumb up and down the line, and then also opening up the paper and folding it backwards, and then going up and down that crease line once again. After working that crease line in and folding the paper inside and out several times, we're now ready to tear the paper. We do this by starting at the top of the page and slowly creating a tear, using our thumb as a guide, and very carefully working that tear line down the entire length of the page. Next, we're going to grab that other sheet of paper that's 16 by 20 inches in size that we haven't touched yet. And we're going to repeat the process by folding that paper in half and working in the crease line and prepping the page to be ready to be torn. Step number 3 is very easy. All that we're going to do is take our torn sheets of paper and simply fold them in half. For this step, only fold each sheet of paper one time. For step number 4, grab your pencil and mark the middle point of the page. Next, drop down to the bottom of the page, go about an inch up and add a second marking. And then in the middle of those 2 points, add a third marking. Proceed up to the top of the page, drop down about an inch, add your 4th marking on the page, and then add marking number 5. Be careful with this next step. Take a thumbtack and push it all the way through the paper from the inside to the outside. Be careful not to scratch your surface below, and be careful not to injure yourself in the process of pushing that thumbtack all the way through the paper. And now you're just going to repeat the process with the other holes. Step number 5. Grab your thread and measure out from the top to the bottom of your book the length that you will need, and do that 3 times so that you have 3 times the length. If you have measured correctly, then you should have approximately 30 inches in length. And the thread is now ready to be cut. For purposes of this guide only, I am using a pencil to number the holes that we're going to use for sewing the book together. These numbers will correspond with the sewing guide that I'll put on the screen in just a moment. And I'm starting at the bottom of the page and numbering 1 through 5. 1 at the bottom, 5 at the top. Next, take a needle and insert the thread. Tie a single knot to secure the thread to the needle. With the needle prepped, we're now ready to sew the book together. And here's a look at the sewing guide. There are 5 holes marked in the book, which are indicated on the guide and numbered 1 through 5. So we'll actually start on the outside of the book at hole number 3, right in the middle, and proceed through the sequence listed at the bottom of the guide, proceeding from outside hole number 3 to inside the book, and from there it goes to hole number 4, and so on pursuant to the sequence that is listed. Take your needle and insert it from the outside of hole number 3, bringing it inside the book to the inside of hole number 3, and pull it all the way through. And as you can see, the book will come apart a little bit as you work the needle through from the outside to the inside. Sometimes you really have to work that needle to get it through the page and all of the pages. From the inside of hole number 3, we're going to go up to hole number 4. And from the inside of hole number 4, we'll take the needle through the book all the way through to the outside of hole number 4. So from here, we're going to tighten the thread by pulling it all the way through the book, leaving about 4 inches or so at the very end, and pull it nice and tug. With the needle now located outside of hole number 4, the next step is to bring it up to hole number 5 on the outside and thread it inside the book. And with each step going forward, it's important to pull the thread all the way through and tighten the thread so it's nice and snug. Drop the needle down to hole number 4 and thread it through the book, so it's now coming through hole number 4 to the outside of the book. With everything pulled through nice and tight, the next step is to skip hole number 3 and drop down to hole number 2. We're on the outside of the book. The needle point will go in through hole number 2. Once again, pull everything nice and tight on the thread, still leaving about 3 to 4 inches of thread on the outside of the book. Only a couple more holes to go from here. Working our way from the inside of hole number 1, we're going to bring the needle through to the outside of the book, and then we're going to go back up to hole number 2 and go from the outside of the book back to the inside of the book, and then out through the middle hole, which will be our final hole that will exit through the outside of the book. The book is now sewn together with both ends of the thread on the outside of the book. It's now time to tie the thread by just making a simple knot. And I like to tie the knots a couple of times to make sure it's nice and secure. And then the remaining thread can be cut and the book is finished. I hope this video has been helpful to you in putting together your own do-it-yourself sketchbook. This is my favorite sketchbook to use nowadays for watercolors. And if you'd like to check out one of my sketchbook tours, I have one posted on my channel. Happy painting!